Netramilina means the eyes, open the eyes of the deities. It's one of the many processes for, I guess everyone's sitting so far away, so anyway. Can everyone hear me? You can hear it, okay. So it's one of the many processes of installing the deities. Now, let's talk about what deities are. Because, of course, most of you know about deities, but what are deities? They're called Archa Vigrahas. That means the form that is worshipped, like Archana Vigraha. Vigraha means form. So, why do we worship these forms? Why do we worship the forms of Radha and Krishna? That's going to fall off. I'm going to definitely going to knock it off. I'll put it up here. I can reach it. That's fine. So, and why is the form of the Lord worshipable? I mean, it's very interesting. Well, first of all, we have to understand the nature of the absolute. And absolute means spiritual personality, Krishna. In Krishna, what is it? Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetrak Yakyatata Para. Krishna and Vishnu are the same person. Some of you may come from backgrounds where you worship Vishnu, but Krishna and Vishnu are the same person. Advaita Chutanadi Rananta Rupamadhyam Parama Purasham Navyomanam Cha. So the nature of God is Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetrak Yakyatata Para Vidyakama Sangha Tritiya Shakti Ishate. Here, in other words, translating into English, because very few of you probably speak Sanskrit. So Vishnu, or God, Krishna, has three basic categories of potencies. The spiritual potency, the material potency, and then us. We're called the Tatashta Shakti. Tatashta means we're somewhere in between. We can choose material or we can choose spiritual. But the interesting thing about Krishna, or God, is he can transform different energies into different energies. Krishna can change something from spirit to material, and vice versa. Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, gives the example that if you have an electrician, the electrician can take electrical energy and make it cool or make it heat. For him, it's the same. It's just a question, like you have heat pumps. It's just a question of utilizing it properly. Oh, they're chanting. See if I can concentrate with all that chanting going on, because naturally my mind goes towards the mantras. So, it's a challenge. Maybe they can chant real softly. That's all right, because it's going to be hard for me to speak, because I'm thinking of the mantras and the meaning of the mantras. You can't do two things at once. Mantras are naturally attractive to me. So, anyway, Krishna, Vishnu, he can transform one energy to another. So here we have the deities. Everybody knows the deities are made of, probably these could be brass deities, or the five metals, like that. And so, are we worshiping just five metals, or are we worshiping brass? No, we're not worshiping brass. Because Krishna appears, just like Krishna appears in the holy names. We're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashiva Nechimukto, Vinatwam Namino, Krishna's non-different from his name. And so, how are we chanting? We're just chanting with this vocal cord, and with the lungs, and with this material body that's Pancha Mahabhuta. Everybody knows what Pancha Mahabhuta is? Oops. Pancha Mahabhuta means the five gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So here, I'm manifesting Krishna's name, and Krishna's name is transcendental. And we're not worshiping an ordinary piece of brass. Krishna agrees to appear. Now, why does Krishna agree to appear? Can I make Krishna appear in this cartel? No. I just, Krishna's pure devotee, good But really, no. Krishna appears in a specific form for two reasons. And I think the most important reason is because his devotees ask him to come and appear in this particular way. And secondly, the form that we have of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is exactly, or according to Shastra, made according to Shastra, the form. Even without the installation of the deity, for example, we have pictures here. There's a picture of Radha Golokananda, picture of Radha and Krishna over there, and other pictures. God knows what that picture is on the left side. That's another issue. But anyway, so I won't criticize that. So we have different pictures here. So Krishna manifests even in the picture, because Krishna is transforming that energy. A picture is paper, and the photograph. Well, it's actually ink because it's probably printed in a computer printer. So it's transformed into spirit because it's used for Krishna. Anything used for Krishna becomes transformed in quality, and especially a picture of Krishna or form of Krishna. And Krishna descends. It's also called the Archa Avatar. The word avatar is very interesting because it means crossing down or coming down. So Krishna comes down to this level, to this world, to allow us to approach him in this way, to accept service. So the question is sometimes raised, why don't I just chant Hare Krishna? I mean, why do I have to have deities? And we had this question before about why should someone take second initiation? That was a question that was raised. Of course, there's esoteric reasons for taking second initiation. Esoteric means, you get to cultivate the mode of goodness, you get to go deeper into your relationship with the spiritual master, with Lord Chaitanya, with Radha and Krishna. Those are the esoteric reasons. But the exoteric reason is you get to worship the deity. And in the temple. Of course, at home, people have their own deities. They don't need second initiation to worship those deities. But to worship the deity in the temple, what is the benefit of that? Well, it teaches you that God is a person. Because we chant so many mantras, but as we're chanting the mantras, we may not be thinking that God is a person. We may be thinking, I just want to get liberated, or someone's chanting their japa. We all chant, not all of you, but hopefully you all chant japa. You may think, let me just finish my prescribed number of rounds so I can get onto my real business, like eating prasadam. You might be thinking of so many things because the mind naturally goes to other things. And also because we are a very visual culture. Modern culture is very visual. The ancient culture wasn't visual. The ancient culture, even if you go back to Satyuga, or even Treta Yuga, Dwapara, you got more visual. Dwapara, that was deity worship, was the authorized methodology. So, we're very visual. So when we see something, we actually understand, or we see the deities, we understand God's a person. And it helps us develop a personal relationship. Wow, he is a person. Now, obviously, the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is personal too, but it doesn't get into our minds, our thick skulls, so easily. So God is a person. Not only that, number two, we're supposed to serve him. Because when you have the deities, the whole point is to render service. Before you eat, what do? You offer to Krishna. And you try to offer something that's clean, that's according to his taste, right? Because you think more about his pleasure than your pleasure. You know, your pleasure, you just be eating chocolate bars or something like that. I don't know. Or fast food, or you go, what is that ordering place? You just order these, what is it called? No. They deliver to your home. DoorDash? No, not DoorDash. There's something else where they complete meals. I see so many advertisements about that.
That's meal delivery.
Yeah, whatever it is. Meal delivery, you just put it in you nuke it. You put it in the microwave, right?
Yeah.
And just 5-minute dinner. But when you have Krishna in your home, you think Krishna doesn't like a TV dinner. And then also, I mean, so it makes you think more about his pleasure. It's psychological too. You know, spiritual, and it's also psychological. And when you're chanting, if you chant properly, you're thinking of Krishna's pleasure. But generally, because we're visual, it's harder. Psychological. It's harder. So you have the deities, you think, oh, it's their pleasure. Let me dress them nicely. You come in the morning, it gives you some place to chant. You know, you chant in the temple room, you worship the deities, you see Krishna there, reminds you of your purpose of life, he reminds you of your purpose of life. And it just brings auspiciousness. When you have Krishna in your home, it turns the whole home into a temple. And actually that's one of the principles of practices, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, of devotional service, is that one should live in a holy place. And where their deity is there, that place is a holy place. And so you're living in a sacred place at that particular point. And then you're careful what you do. I mean, there's all sorts of benefits, psychological, spiritual, and otherwise, for having deities in your home. It centers everything on Krishna. So, the ceremony that we're going to see, bringing Krishna in, or something's happening. Bringing the flowers. So, the ceremony you're going to see is a traditional ceremony for welcoming Krishna into the home. And really, what brings Krishna more than anything else, I mean, there'll be many mantras, there'll be many practices. What brings Krishna more is the chanting of the holy name and the devotion of the devotees. As Krishna says in the Gita, Bhaktamam abhijanati yamanyasasmi tatvata. Only by devotion can I be known. So Krishna appears and the more devotion we render, the more Krishna appears. It's not an all or nothing thing. I mean, Krishna is there. The more he manifests to us. Yayatamam prabhajante, tamstataiva prajamyam. Krishna reciprocates with us. So in this way, we encourage everyone to develop this devotion, understand Bhaktaram Jagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvabhutanam Yatva Mam Shantim Richati. To understand that Krishna is the enjoyer. He's the proprietor of the house. Not you anymore. You got to pay the bills. You got to pay the mortgage. Of course, ultimately, Krishna's paying. But Krishna is the proprietor. He's the owner. So you do everything for his pleasure. And the house becomes, as I said before, like a temple. So this is why this is going on. And what's the benefit for us for doing that? Is that we become happy. Because Again, that verse, 529 from the Gita. Bhokram Jakatapasam Sarvalokam Maheshram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatpamam Shanti Mrichati. Understand Krishna is the enjoyer. He's the Lord of all the worlds. He's the enjoyer of the sacrifice. And he's your well-wisher. And then Shanti, you become peaceful. I mean, everybody likes to chant Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Especially fire sacrifices at funerals. But without Shanti, without peace, you can never be happy. And that's also described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhukti Mukti Siddhikam Sakalaya Shanta Shravata Nishkam Atayeva Shanta. That as long as we want other things in this world, our mind will never be satisfied, never be peaceful. But we have this bhakti, which is a cultivation, many, many years, then we can actually be peaceful and happy. Kevalananda Kanda, always experience happiness, always experience bliss. And isn't that what we want? That's Krishna consciousness. I often say to people that since I took up Krishna consciousness, things have become so nice and my life is so happy. Just like I was asked the question on the way here, very nice devotee was asking me the question, you do so many austerities. You do this and you go to this country, you go to that country. And I was thinking, what austerity do I do? I'm just like having fun. Get to play the guitar, go to people's homes, get to help people in Krishna consciousness. Because really, the greatest happiness is being Krishna conscious. And the type of happiness that one experiences from helping others come to Krishna consciousness is the highest happiness in Krishna consciousness. So it's really not an austerity, sacrifice, difficulty or anything like that. Sometimes I think that it's so much bliss in Krishna consciousness, and I'm speaking from personal experience after 4 years or something, that it must be illegal. They're too happy. I'll get arrested, pulled over by the police. You're too happy. So this is open to all of you. I'm not special. I'm just an ordinary person. And all of you can experience great happiness and satisfaction and peacefulness in your lives. And this is a step in achieving this deity installation and worship of the deities. So, any questions or comments that anyone would like to have before we proceed with the Netra Vilena? Questions? No? Are we ready for the next step? Okay. Then we can do a little kirtan, 5 minutes.